Greetings to all my old faff friends, and welcome to Sons of Ablicka for quite a nice little 5v5 team game sent to me by my good friend Apophonus. I'm just going to run through the teams, just give you a bit of an overview. I do apologise, I don't actually know some of the players here. I do know some of the others, so I'll do my best to give a bit of a rundown of how this works. Given that it's not an obvious north-south split, Apophonus and Skunkmaster Stee, that side we'll call that the north, and we'll call Essie and Corwin's side, we'll call that the south. So, moving on to the players, we have at the top Apophonus, my good friend from Russia. A very difficult player to play against, plays team games and 1v1s, likes to use some unusual tactics, tends to be quite aggressive. Someone that I really don't like playing against when I do play. He's going to be a real handful for everybody on the South team. Skunkmaster Stee, not someone I know. He's picked Cybran as well as Apophonus, so no idea what he's going to do there, but we will see. Wesmania in the air spot. Typically, the middle spot is the air spot. Wesmania's been around for quite a while. Quite a good all-round player, so be an interesting battle in the air spot. C-Star, I've seen him around in some team games, very much in the average Joe's category. I would expect to see a small amount of units, maybe a Ravager push later on. Corwin, classic player, can do a bit of everything, air, land, can go aggressive, can tech, another one that's quite tough to play against. On the South team, up top we've got Essie. Wins the accolade for the deepest voice on FAF. Good player, good all-round player, plays team games, not so much in the 1v1 category. May struggle with the aggressive play of Apophonus, but we'll see how that pans out. Quite good later in the game. Julian, again, know nothing about him. Another Cybran player, so I know very little about these two, so it'll be interesting to see who gets the upper hand there. Mackerel, again, he's someone that I've seen around a bit, tends to eco quite a lot, reasonably good air player. I would expect to see him tech hard, go T3, win air, and then make use of it. Super Panavision, not played much with him, but quite a useful player. I've seen him on Wonder a few times, a few of the team games, so I would expect him to. I'd probably say he would have the upper hand against C-Star, ignoring the obvious difference in rating. And finally, at the bottom, we have Elwood, who I would normally expect to see him playing air, believe it or not. So I'm surprised that Elwood's here and not here. And he's got a very stern test from Corwin on the North team. So let's speed this up and see how things go. I'm going to focus just early on up the top because I have a funny feeling that we'll see some raiding units coming out from Apophonus, trying to stop the expansion of Essie, taking his mexes. One thing to note that there is quite a lot of mass here, so you've got some destroyers and some rocks. So you can either send your engineer or you can send your comm, as Corwin has done. As you can see, a few units here, and it looks like actually Essie's got the main. Yeah, Essie's got the main share of that. No, has he? Ooh, fairly even Stevens on that one, I think. So, in fact, I think Apophonus has probably got slightly more of that. Doesn't look like there was much of a challenge down here for the mass. Early scout from Wesmania. And indeed, as we expected, some raiders. That's quite a nice team play actually. Accompanied with a scout from Skunkmaster Stee. So we've got another raiding party going down here, taking out more engineers. Just generally disrupts things, makes you have to think about sending engineers out, sending units there. Obviously, your radar coverage and scouting coverage doesn't tend to be that good at this stage of the game. More mexes being taken out there. And a bomber from Wesmania, that's interesting. Didn't manage to do any damage, sadly. So he sent that without his air, so probably wasn't the greatest idea. Early push from Super Panavision with some units as well. On Sea Star, Corwin sending over some Mantis to give him a help. No, he's not. He's changed his mind. I can't see this being pushed all the way through. I'm sure that they'll be... Yeah, he's going to back off in a minute. Corwin's got his units there ready, so I don't think he's able to push in and get the kill. Yeah, he's going to move away. So over here we've got, as we expected, aggressive play and some good bomber micro there from Apophonus. More raids, more bombers. I think that power's going to probably end up dying. Looks like the focus of the bombers. Targeted by the air, but I think that power's going to go. Oh dear. So there you go. 4T1 power gone, and that's going to have an impact on SE. Albeit he's still got power at the moment. Could be his own power, could be overflow from the team. But very much worthwhile. And the constant bombardment, it's really not good news for SE. Meanwhile, Skunk Master Stee laid down some PD, which is good. Can control this mass here, so anything that happens he should be able to reclaim that and use it to his advantage. So I'd like to see from him, in amongst this very long line of power gens which are all next to one another, some engineers coming out here and making use of this reclaim, whether it's for tech-in or whether it's for additional units. That's interesting. Our air player, or the North air player should I say, has decided to go on a rampant gun spree. Oh, and I think that was a mercy. I may well have missed that. That's a really good idea. He's backing off now, but he's done damage and he's left reclaim here, which is good news for Sea Star. As you can see, Corwin is making the most of it. It doesn't look like Sea Star's got any engineers on the way over to do it, but there we go. That additional comm, it makes it so difficult, and we have a gun push over here, but it looks like it's going to fail, and I think we're going to lose our first player here in Elwood. Yep, there he goes. Overcommitted with his gun, no flak or anti-air with him, puts a lot of pressure on the air player who didn't send anything, but at the same time, in a 5v5 you can't just expect your air player to cover everything, and indeed as a result we lose a player. And this is going to be a big problem now for Super Panavision to try and hold this particular area here against, well, 3 comms. So it's really good work that is from Wesmania, taking out a player. His team now need to respond to that, take advantage of it, control this area and start to push inwards. Some more units from Apophonus, just giving these guys the run around here. I mean, that's brilliant. Look at that. It's like the Benny Hill show that we used to have in the UK. Everybody running after his units. Brilliant. Nice little battle here. So we've got some rhinos, which they'll just make mincemeat of Mantis. No problem at all. But we've also got more gunships here. So, and again, no flak. The air's not moving, so I think we may well lose. I think we're probably going to use our second. So some T1 anti-air is going to come out, but it's not going to be enough. Looks like that's the end of Julian. Shame they were having actually quite a nice little battle, and he'd just started some tactical missiles on his opponent's mexes, which would have given him an advantage. Not sure why Mackerel hasn't responded to that and tried to help. But as a result, he is T3 air now, and I don't think... Yep, Wesmania isn't. Now, this is what we sort of predicted in the beginning. Mackerel's ignored to a certain degree everything else that's going on, but it looks like he's got an advantage in terms of economy, and an advantage in the fact that he's got T3 air. I mean, yeah, it's a significant advantage as well. So he now needs to make the most of that. And indeed, he's going for Apophonus. Mackerel has very little chance of killing him in this case, I think. Yeah, there we go. Apophonus is too smart for that. He's already, as you can see, he's going to pump out the flak now. Lots of flak coming out. So those restorers are just going to get eaten. And when they land, they leave a lot of reclaim behind. So for someone of Apophonus's caliber, it's no problem to deal with. Interestingly, there hasn't really been a significant push down the bottom here. Super Panavision looks like he's managed to hold ground. A few odd units, and the fact that there's T3 air now makes it very difficult for these guys to push. They're going to have to make sure that they've got lots of flak, which I don't see here at the moment. Bit of T1 anti-air. So these guys down here, they are at risk. So Super Panavision's done a really good job there. And he's gone T3 land before either of his opponents, so I'd expect to see some Harbs come out, which indeed he does make. So the great thing about Harbs is the fact that they can attack and they can reclaim. Fantastic unit. Meanwhile, up top, Apophonus still fighting it out with Essie. Essie's done really well actually to hold on and not let those early attacks damage him too much, and in fact it looks like Essie actually has the economy advantage, albeit some of that will be the additional base, which of course Apophonus doesn't have. But Skunkmaster Stee is now going to put pressure on that, which is great. Lots of units, a few bombers in there, some PD, which not a big fan of the Cerberus turret, low DPS. He has got some engineers using that reclaim as well. And it's good from the perspective that it's not just good that he takes the reclaim for himself, it stops Essie taking the reclaim. He'll probably do a little bit more with it, so that helps Apophonus out in the long run. Apophonus has responded to the attack from Skunkmaster Stee, and it looks now they're going to push down into this open area here, stop the expansion, and put further pressure on Essie. Constant scouting. You notice a lot of people moaning about their air player not scouting. There you go, constant stream of scouts. It costs very, very little. You get constant intel, and you can decide what you're going to do. Risky play from Essie there in terms of pushing his comm as far as he's pushing it, but I think he knows that he's got air control. T3 factory at the back there for some Harbs from the air player. Now this is a risky tactic again. He's done really well so far, Wesmania, in the fact that he's killed 2 people. But it doesn't look like the rest of the team, other than Apophonus, it doesn't look like they've responded to that and pushed hard enough to make that an advantage. We've got some Ravagers going up, and that's a very good choice. Getting a Sam up, I'd probably... He needs to get a little bit of flak up as well. Sams don't tend to be very good against Restorers. Very intelligently, Apophonus is trying to put pressure on the air player to restore parity in terms of the economy difference, which is quite significant at the moment. He's took his flak with him so that those Restorers can't really do anything. I mean, really, at this stage, with the lack of ASF, I would say if I was Wesmania, I'd be getting some bombers out there, and supporting with this air. But again, Skunkmaster Stee and Apophonus putting lots of pressure on here, making things really difficult for Mackerel. At the moment, I can only see this going one way. South team's really struggling, albeit a really fantastic performance here from Super Panavision, who's managed to hold on tech. Really important for his air player, really, that he's stopping these guys. So Seastar's producing these Ravagers, so we need to see some mobile artillery coming out now to start to stop that push there. Nice wall down the side there to stop raids, that's a good idea as well. Corwin doesn't have units that can reclaim that, so other than engineers. So that's quite a nice little setup there. If he can get some shields and some mobile artillery to stop this push, That's a very good thing. Ravagers, whilst very powerful, very expensive. Another push from Skunkmaster Stee. I mean, Essie's doing a grand job here, just holding on for dear life. I presume waiting for the moment that Mackerel makes his move. I mean, he's got a huge economy difference. It looks like he's won air now as well. So it looks like Wesmania wants to drop some harbs somewhere on the map. It's going to be quite difficult if he doesn't have air control. However, it can be brutal if he can drop a couple of harbs in and around areas that aren't particularly covered, take out some mexes and even reclaim them. I mean, it's a really good tactic. Essie's got some some siege tanks Othams out to try and deal with the hoplites. You're doing a really good job there. Lots of anti-air out here, but the only problem with this is it's all T1, which T1 anti-air isn't particularly effective against restorers, but it will help, and I think that's the thing. Maybe it's more of a deterrent than anything else. And there we have, looks like some artillery, if I can spot where it is. Eyesight's not so good these days. But there's some artillery that I'll expect to see focused on this area here. Looks like he's just going to try and creep those Ravagers all the way into his base. There it is. So we've got Serenity there. I'd expect to see several more. Trying to take those Ravagers out. More gunships coming out from Wesmania. Not sure that's particularly wise at this stage of the game, given the difference in air superiority. But we will see. Classic setup with the air, getting additional factories on the go, built up with power, so we'll have a good air spam. Whereas we have the old-fashioned style of lots of engineers around a single factory at the moment. He'll need to expand that if he wants to be able to get some air control. Some loyalists from Corwin, trying to keep pressure on Mackerel. Nice placement of a shield there, just protecting his mexes from those kind of advances. And the problem is you're giving someone that's already got a good economy even more reclaim, which means they can do that. Build a GC, which especially if you've got air control. Oh, we've got an air fight here, and Wesmania hasn't seen that. That's really bad news. That's interesting. He's backed off. Okay, so he was winning that air battle and backed off. Perhaps he thought Wesmania had more. Let's have a look at the radar coverage. Pretty good. Not quite sure why he backed out of that one, but he did. Looks like Wesmania wants to attack. No. Super Panavision, again, still holding on bravely. It's got a number of artillery out now, and that's going to stop this dead in its tracks. And some Harbingers just holding the fort, stopping the push. Looks like these guys have perhaps focused a little bit more here than here, and that may cost them. And interestingly, because he's got the 2 base, let's just have a look. Yeah, trying to make a GC, which if he can take those Ravagers out beforehand, that could spell a big problem for these guys. Some Corsairs being lined up from Corwin. Oh, this is really bad news up top for Essie. Really struggling to hold on. Not a massive amount of flak there, and he does have air control, so really I'd expect to see maybe some more restorers, but he's gone with the GC, and that's going to be a big problem over here. Is he going to focus on this? Well, I would say the best bet is to go straight for his air player. He knows he has air control. Take out the air player, and I think that's going to finish the game, which would represent a great comeback for the South team, considering losing a couple of players quite early. But a sterling job from both Super Panavision and Essie. I mean, I know he's got very little left, but he's held on for a long time, really against the odds, against Apophonus and Skunkmaster Stee, who's done very well, by the way. Lots of Corsairs, but the difficulty here is that these are great for a snipe, especially early game. But with the amount of air that Mackerel has, I just don't think that's going to work. I think they're trying to get the shields down. Yeah, trying to get the shields down, but there's overlapping T2 shields here. Oh, he's only under 1 with his comm, so let's see how that goes. Is he going to get his shield down? He's got his shield down. Done some damage, but there's air there responding to it straight away, so it's a failed attempt. And indeed, the GC is, well, T1 bombers in a vain attempt from C-Star to stop the GC from doing its job. But I think this may well represent the end of the game. Harb drop up there ready to go, but he doesn't have air control, so he can't really send it anywhere. And supporting Restorers now, which he can use. It's quite nice from Skunkmaster Steve, just trying to do some damage to that GC, sending in the mobile bombs, fire beetles. But I think it's too late, and I think Wesmania's gonna die. A bit of raging going on in chat, lots of passion coming from the players in this game. Messi's still alive, still fighting, still holding on to what little he has, giving this air player a chance to finish the game off. And this looks like final vain attempt with the Harbs, but it's not enough. Wesmania falls, and so does air control. So we've got a real problem now for the North team in the fact that you've got a huge eco from Mackerel, complete air control, and 2 GCs on the field. Super Panavision's actually pushing him back now with his artillery. And I think we're going to see, not too long after this, the end of the game. A Monkey Lord going up, which, given the fact that the GC is damaged and there are some shields, it is possible that it will win. In fact, it's quite highly likely that it will win. GC pushing up the left hand side, stopping Apophonus from pushing, and a GC from Super Panavision who's been absolutely superb, going in, taking out the remainder of those Ravagers. The units aren't going to be enough to stop that GC. And indeed some Harbs supporting from Super Panavision, so he can move in and finish off 2 players pretty much on his own, because it looks like the air player's focused most of his efforts elsewhere. Monkey Lord from Apophonus, Monkey Lord very shortly from Skunkmaster Steve, but it's not going to be enough. Ah, no, I've missed that. Looks like that would have been Telemazer. Yeah, that would have been Telemazer. But he's prepared for it very wisely. I mean, good move from Coin in the fact that everything's pretty much done. I don't blame him for trying that. But obviously there's a lot of point defence there and it's failed. Super Panavision just mopping up the rest on this side here. And just to finish everything off, there's a sugary donut going up, which is a Tsar. But I think this game is pretty much done. I think we can speed this one up now, because I don't think there's going to be too many more shocks here. Apophonus realising he just hasn't got enough there, and I can tell he would have been very frustrated. I know Apophonus, he doesn't like to lose. Very competitive player, very good player. Wouldn't like to lose this at all. T1 Bombers from C-Star, bless him. But it's just not going to be enough. And indeed, I think we're going to see our next com death. In C-Star. And there he goes. Absolutely terrific performance from Super Panavision. So I'm going to keep an eye out for. 2 very good players on the north hand side. Well, Corwin especially. And he's dealt with them. And just to add insult to injury, even though the Monkey's going to win the battle against the GC here, there is nothing they can do. Flak won't be enough. Not enough SAMs. No ASF. 2 GCs walking in. SC, has he gone for nano? Yeah, he's gone for nano repair on his comm, so it's going to be very difficult to kill him. And indeed, there goes Apophonus. Great shame for Apophonus, he played really, really well. But unfortunately, his efforts weren't enough. GC's just literally obliterating everything with the supporting sniper bots and comm of SE with 30,000 health. It's going to be impossible to stop, and indeed a big bunch of Cerberus turrets, no chance. So we've seen the end of this game. Great comeback from the South team. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you've got a good cast with good action, then by all means send it to me. Ideally a little bit less than this. This is quite a long one for me. But if you've got good games with good action, send them over to me. You may need to send them to my agent, Mr. Mackey, and he'll forward them on to me, and I'll happily cast them for you. Thanks for watching.